Band directors are constantly giving pianists good advice. Listen to the soloist, support the rhythm section, layout, play denser, play higher, play lower, and yet nothing changes. The pianist still freezes. It's not because the director is wrong, but because the most important response system in jazz piano was never installed. And the moment this becomes painfully obvious is when the notes disappear and the chord symbols show up. The job of the pianist is bigger than chord symbols. They support the band, they interact with the rhythm section, they respond to the soloist. But the most painful moment for both the pianist and the director happens when the notes disappear and the chord symbols show up. Because in that moment, the pianist is no longer reading music. They're responsible for generating harmony. And if there isn't a response system installed for that moment, everything collapses. And the strange thing is, once that response system is installed, the problem disappears almost immediately. So in this video, I want to show you the missing framework behind that moment. It's what I call the Chord Symbol Response Framework. And it has 3 layers: the pianist's job in the rhythm section, the harmonic engine that produces the sound, and the response system that makes it automatic. Inside those 3 layers are 7 installation steps. And once that framework exists, the advice directors are already giving their pianists finally start working. It has a place to land. When I adjudicate jazz festivals, I hear the same moment over and over again. The band sounds great. The arrangement is totally working. Then the soloist stands up and starts playing, and suddenly there's a hole in the music. Sometimes the pianist stops playing completely. Sometimes they play very quietly, almost apologetically. Or they're reading written chords that land on the downbeats, and you can feel it immediately. The rhythm section isn't lifting the music. As a clinician, I can talk about groove, interaction, supporting the soloist, but I also know something else. If that response system is not already installed, none of that advice lands. Because the pianist is still stuck on one question: where do my hands go? And I know this feeling personally. Before I knew what I was doing, that was exactly where I lived. Not in the rhythm and the interaction and supporting the soloist and where to play and not to play. Just staring at the cymbals thinking, where do my hands go to make the sounds that I hear on all those albums? Fast forward to a professional situation. When I'm recording or playing with a band, I'm thinking about very different things. Where should the harmony sit in the texture? Should the chords be dense or light? Should I stay out of the soloist's register? Should I play rhythmically or leave space? Those are real musical decisions, but none of those decisions are possible until one thing is already solved. Where do my hands go?
All right, imagine the band's just finished the head, right? There's all these, the horns are playing and there's a lot of energy and it goes pow and the solo starts and the chord symbols are on the page for the pianist. Right? So the pianist isn't playing, they lay out. Now this can be a good choice. There's nothing wrong with this choice. It's just that there's got to be intention behind it, and when they come back in, they need to have something to say. Most of the time when I see this, it's because the pianist doesn't know what to do. That's a common problem, and it's not their fault. They're looking at either nothing, chord changes, or written out comping. They might be looking at something like this: D minor, G7, and C. Okay, and those might be the written out chords, and those are great 4-note jazz chord voicings. The minimum viable note choices for these chords, right? In these hand positions, right? So now let's look at what this typically sounds like. Right? Like if it's written out. If it's not written out, then it's whole notes. Again, harmonically it does sound great, right? But it's not giving us some choices because this is what they're looking at on the page. Here's what happens. We're assuming that that's the level that we're at because this is the level that we're at for no other reason than that. And Although there are chord symbols written in the arrangement, thankfully to the arrangers, giving the pianist some notes to play, it does enhance the listening situation, but it does not enhance the educational situation for the pianist. It's either these notes or nothing else. So what are the choices at this point? It's either lay out, don't know what to play, or you're going to play these chord voicings very carefully, very quietly, almost apologetically. You're playing the right voicings, but the rhythm section still doesn't come alive. You're not moving with the soloist. And again, this isn't a talent issue. It's not a capability issue. It's not a theory issue. It's a missing response system. I'm about to give you a solo that has a little more on it. The idea is that I'm going to follow along with the soloist and I'm going to have ready-made jazz chords in my hands. Now, for me personally, I have lots of systems that I can draw from. And so it's actually more challenging for me to reduce this down to one single system. It's cognitively harder for me to do. So as a student learning the system, you're actually at an advantage if you want to use this system to get better. You're not in danger of violating and say, oh, no, that's the wrong system. Oh, you're doing this too. Don't worry about that. I just want you to be able to see the energy that we can capture when we have these ready-made chords. Check it out.
Most jazz education explains chords, or they simply write them out on the page, but explaining chords or reading them is not the same as installing a response to chord symbols. And that's where the pianists are getting stuck. Directors give good musical advice, listen to the soloists, interact with the rhythm section, support the band, all of that. But if the response layer isn't yet installed, that advice has nowhere to land. We know this. Because the pianist is still stuck solving the first problem, where do my hands go?
So let me show you what this looks like in practice. I'm going to use that same simple 2-5-1 progression. It's actually 2-5-1-6. We won't worry about that. I'll probably expand into that. This is a very standard chord progression. The harmonic engine stays the same. The voicings are already installed. I may throw some extra ones in there. Just bear with me. Just playing C major here. Now I'm getting more dense, right? The excitement's getting higher. As we get going, the pianist can add more energy, more density, more rhythmic drive. Again, the same voicing system, the same installed harmonic engine, but different musical decisions. The key idea is this. The pianist isn't calculating theory while the band is playing. They're responding because the harmonic engine is already installed in their hands.
So let's look at the 3 layers of the framework. The first layer is the pianist's job in the rhythm section. A lot of confusion starts right here because the pianist's job in a jazz band is not simply reading notes on a page. It's not simply responding to jazz chords. It's multifaceted. Their job is also to support the soloist, to interact with the rhythm section, to create harmonic motion that lifts the music. But that job becomes extremely difficult the moment the notes disappear and the chord symbols show up, because now the pianist must produce harmony without written guidance, which leads to the second layer, the harmonic engine. This is the sound system that produces the chords or the sounds that support the job description. In big band and in modern jazz piano, that sound is built from dense 5-note voicings. 4 harmonic tones, your minimum viable note choices, plus an anchor point that allows the hands to find the chord instantly. These are the same kinds of voicings you hear on countless jazz recordings. Album-Ready Jazz Chords. And here's the key idea. Those voicings do not change. What changes is how the pianist uses them. The density, the rhythm, the register, the interaction with the band, but none of those musical decisions matter yet until the chords themselves exist in the hands already. Which brings us to the third layer, the response system. This is the installation layer. It's where the brain learns to respond to chord symbols automatically, not by calculating theory in real time, but by recognizing patterns and placing the hands instantly on the piano. Once that response layer exists, the pianist stops guessing and starts choosing. And suddenly the advice directors have been giving all along starts working. 3 layers, 7 installation steps. A way to take chord symbols and turn them into automatic musical response. So if you're a band director watching this and you've ever felt like you didn't quite know what to tell your pianist during the solo section, what to do, how to make it better, it's not because you were giving the wrong advice. It's because the response layer wasn't installed yet. Once that layer exists, the advice directors are already giving suddenly starts working. All of those musical decisions start with one thing, an installed response to chord symbols. If this idea resonated with you, just type the word install in the comments. I'd love to see which directors out there are thinking about this moment in their rhythm section.